Darius Husseini, get up here, man.
Give it up to Mr. Dar.
I'm asking Dar to come up because every summer I have to bring somebody with me to help coordinate these projects and to get them done efficiently, get the supplies back and forth, snacks handed out, you know, that kind of thing. And Mr. Dar is good at helping out. He's a good guy. He's a good tech guy. And, you know, I'm really impressed with you, man. I remember when you was this little and you had and now you're a businessman. I'm impressed with this group of young people, and I would like to echo what Mr. Todd said, that it's so important that as you go forward with your success, and all of you are going to be successful. You may not be up here with the certificate, but I guarantee you if they had more certificates to give out, all of you have one.
That's right.
As you go forward in your lives and you continue to impress and continue to achieve, don't forget about this program, that it's here, and remember what it did for you. Remember how it lifted you up and helped you feel special and gave you the strength to go on and to take in all the information that was being provided. And that this type of program in days like this where you see so much coming at us for being different, it needs to be built up and left behind for other young people just like you who are going to need your help and your support when you become successful. Okay? So don't forget this program. Miss Marsha, I watch her struggle over a computer. She ain't never tell you that, but she works really hard to get the money and keep good staff and keeps everybody's spirits up, even when things are real difficult and it's not always clear where things are coming from. So never think it's just a magic trick. It's hard work that keeps this program going and growing and being strong. We have 3 awards that we're going to give out, and this was because at the art project we had asked everyone to consider doing a piece on social justice if they had time, and then they did a piece that was just for fun, and everybody wanted to get into the art. We like to stimulate that creative mind and keep that imagination going because that opens the door to some of the information that's being passed on to you in your regular curriculum. And so in this particular case, we had a certain number of young people who decided to take on the social justice piece. And of those who submitted pieces, they were judged. And the prizes will go to, let me pull them out here. We got 2 that are kind of in the same place. We only had first and second, okay? So we had 2 seconds. So I'm going to ask Mr. James to come up here. Mr. Jesus G. Mr. Jesus G, can you do the piece with the cook yet? Yeah. All right, there you go. There you go, man. Mr. James. A lot of talent here. A lot of talent. They did freestyle their stuff, and that's not easy to do. Some of the art you saw in there was the images were given, but then they expressed their own creative dimension to the piece. And then some people had to do freestyle work and do their own drawings and their own concepts and all of that. And that's what these young people have done. And they've done that consistently over the years too. So I think all of you know them as being really, truly, uniquely creative individuals. So let's give them another hand. So we only have one first place person, and that's going to go to Mary Cruz, yeah. And so all I could think about that piece was seeing that hair flowing across that Trump is just everywhere. It was very expressive and very creative, and we all liked it, and so did the judges. And so let's give these 3 another hand. I think you have to admit that the quilt turned out pretty good, and all of the artwork on it looked really great, and it takes all of those individual contributions to create a whole piece of of art that can be shared. And I know Ms. Lang in the district is wanting to adopt a number of the art pieces that have been produced over the year. Marsha and I have been a little reluctant to let them go yet until we know somebody's going to really take good care of them. And so she's the one who keeps coming back saying, I want some of that art. So we think we're going to give it to her to put into some of the schools. You'll see it pop up soon. So thank you so much for your attention. Let's give all these young people.
Thank you, Mike. I'd like to have a seat. Give me another hand, guys. Appreciate it. So at this time, we're going to have some of our students come up and share their experiences about the summer. We actually have 3 of our residential students that will be sharing information, as well as one of the CTSA interns. So at this time, would Christine, Olivia, Eric, and Lauren please come forward? Okay, give them a big So I'll pass the mic to Ms. Christine.
Welcome. Just to speak on this experience and this camp and what it meant to me, there will be 2 others speaking on the same kind of experience, but I want to speak on how Mr. Cecil mentioned our conversation and how I reached like a state of nirvana and peace of mind due to the people that I was surrounded with and all the experiences that I went through and the place I was at in life. So this summer has taught me a lot, not only the rigorous curriculum taught by the wonderful, astounding instructors, but I've learned a lot from my peers and what I want for my community. Being surrounded by these wonderful people, it's taught me a lot about myself and who I want to be. It's made a huge impact on my mindset. I can't stress that enough. Like I feel like I'm a new person. I feel rejuvenated. I feel like ready. I have a drive like that I've never experienced before. I have a passion that I've never felt before, just to be successful. And I want to do it all for you guys. I want to do it for you guys. I want to do it for my community. I want to do it for people that care the way I care. Being in this program, it's caused me to kind of cut a lot out of my life, cut a lot of people out of my life that I didn't see in my future. People that I didn't feel that would take me far, people that I didn't feel would have the same passion as me, the same success drive as me, the same dreams as me, just want to dream like I want to dream. So that's how I knew I was truly mature and I was maturing. I'm beginning to cross that threshold and become a young woman and realize a lot about myself and about other people and what other people mean to me and how other people can impact me. So thank you guys for everything. And I want to thank Miss Marsha. I couldn't have done it without her. Like all our conversations, everything that we talk about, how much she sees in me, the growth that she sees in me, the potential she sees in me. That's what drives me. That's how I know I can be somebody. That's how I know I can give back to my community. That's how I know that I'm going to make it. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Olivia Jones, and I don't know how I'm supposed to follow up after that, but I just want to thank everyone who contributed to this program, Miss Marsha, of course, Mr. Cecil, Miss Tammy, Miss Cynthia, Miss Liz, all the instructors, counselors, mentors, students. You guys really are special, and I hear people say all the time, well, there's no other group like you guys, and I think that really is true, because this camp, I told my friends, like, oh, I'm going to summer camp and there are going to be academic aspects, but what I don't tell them is the different experiences that we learn. We embrace our multiculturalism. We live with people from different backgrounds. We get to learn how to build relationships and how to work with other people. So not only what we learn in the classroom, which is fantastic and amazing, But what I really take away from these experiences is not only college experiences, but I've made 29 plus new friends, and you guys are lifelong friends. I really do see a good future in you guys. And last year, with all the political era and stuff like that, I was really feeling hopeless, and that our community was just breaking down, and that, how are we supposed to move on from this? But people like Miss Marsha, who have programs like this, that give us hope for the future, that help us build our communities, start small, build up, and we really do have an impact on the people around us and ourselves. And so I just really love this program, and I can't imagine my life without it. It's really shaped me and my future and helped me decide I want to be in the medical field and make an impact with my community and people around me. And yeah, I just really love this program, and I hope to see more students come through and achieve greatness, because I know we can. And thank you everyone for this program, and thank you.
Hello folks. I'm Eric Terrazas, and what I really took away from this camp was it really changed me as a person. Like the education, we had amazing teachers. They really knew their stuff. And like I feel like a step ahead from, like when you get back, I feel a step ahead of the rest of the students. But aside from the education, the dorm life, it helped me get prepared for college. Like, we had to handle multicultural night, poetry, ACT homework, the education, and I feel more prepared now. But also the bonds that we made in the dorms. There's some friendships that they might even last a lifetime. You don't get that anywhere else. And yeah, it's amazing. You get 30 random students from different high schools, and they become a family. You should have seen this morning as a team builder. Everyone shared their thoughts on how they felt this camp was going, and there were like tears flying everywhere. It's pretty amazing. So yeah, this camp is really special. It brings out the best, and if this is our future, then I'm pretty glad that I'm part of it.
Exactly.
Okay. Hello, everybody. So my name is Lauren Barnes, and I've been with everybody since the 6th grade, and it's really crazy because I've pretty much grown up with half of the people that are here and half of the people that I did this camp with. So my experience is, I'm really happy that I did this internship. Well, I knew I was gonna do it, but I'm really happy that I did it because I got so much exposure to things that I probably wouldn't have if I wouldn't have never been in Saturday Academy or Wednesday Media or Summer Science Residential and now the KU Med program. I'm gonna go to KU in the fall, so I know that KU, it's not for me. It's not for people that look like me or like us. So this camp has showed me that I have to work 4 times as hard than anybody else to get the things that I want to get in life. And that even though that there's gonna be struggle, there's people that are just like me that want the same things that I do. And I'm really happy that I got to experience it with these 12 other students, because we were a mess from day 1 to the last day. But I'm really happy though. I really loved it. And even though we've made mistakes, our whole group has, I'm happy that I made them here with people that care about us, and that people that they'll discipline us, but they mean it in a caring way. But because when we get out in the real world, they don't care. It's not for us. It's not for us. But I know that with this program, the preparation that we've had over time, that we can do anything that we want to do. And I'm really happy that I got to experience it with them. And I'm thankful to Miss Marsha, because I was in Saturday Academy in the 6th grade, and she saw something in me in the 6th grade to make me who I am today. And I just want to say thank you to Mr. Douglas and Miss Ursula and everybody else, because without them, we wouldn't get to and fro all of our destinations in big grade. And
Now, white shout out in.
and I'm just really thankful. And I wouldn't have spent my summer any other way. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Can you hear me if I don't put the mic on? Okay, good. Yeah, I'm just gonna, I have this wonderful pleasure, of being able to, something's happening. Now? Okay. Something's happening. The microphone's on the desk.
It's on your folder.
It's on my phone. This one? That'll be yours. Okay, we have an incredible pleasure today to have Dr. Reginald Fears, who is not, I'll read you his bio, but I just want to tell you, as a person, he has been in every single program that we have ever shared with our students and with the community. From family genetics to SEPA teacher, to Saturday Academy teacher, to media star in one of our films, Dr. Eat Right. Do you remember that? And he's tutored. He's been a guide. He's been a mentor. And I'm just so excited that he's going to be back in our community. But let me tell you about him just in terms of his bio, because it's quite amazing. He was born and raised in Wyandotte County, Kansas City, Kansas. He's the 12th of 13 children. He has 6 brothers and 6 sisters. He graduated from Sumner Academy, Science and Arts, in 1996. While at Sumner, he completed the full International Baccalaureate program. He completed his undergraduate education at Stanford University in California, where he received a Bachelor of Arts in Human Biology. While at Stanford, he was undecided about becoming a physician or pursuing a career in public health. So he made a really good choice. He delayed his last year in college to do an internship in Zambia, Africa, to explore public health. While in Zambia, he worked on 2 projects, one involving mother-to-child transmission of HIV/AIDS, and a second project involving commercial sex trafficking and sex workers. After graduating from Stanford, he returned to Kansas City. He completed his doctorate of medicine at the University of Kansas School of Medicine in Wichita in 2010. He was accepted into the Physical Medicine and Rehabilitation Residency Program and completed residency training in June of 2015. After residency, this is pretty impressive, he took a position as medical director of the Via Christi Rehabilitation Hospital in Wichita, Kansas, where he served until this spring, May of 2017. And I have the excitement of saying that he is back in Kansas City to work at Research Medical Center this fall and in Saturday Academy. So he wanted you to know that he's been involved in the Health Careers program as a student and as a mentor and as an educator. I give you our challenge speaker today, Dr. Reginald Fears, and we call him Dr. Reggie.
This one. This one.
Good afternoon, everyone. How's everybody doing?
Great.
I'm very delighted.
There's a password right there.
There's one up here. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm very delighted to be here. Marcia asked me to speak, and I can never tell Marcia no whenever she asks me to do something. Wait.
That's right, the password is there.
Oh, right. I look out here and I see all the faces in the crowd, and these are programs that I benefited from when I was in middle school. These are programs that help build a foundation for me knowing the scientific method, developing my thinking and critical thinking skills in science. These programs are very, very, very important. And I'm very delighted that you guys have chosen to be a part of these programs. More than just the knowledge that come out of these programs, I think that the other thing is that as I sit and I've heard all of this,
Make your computer cancel.
all of the speakers and the students talk about their experience in these programs create a community. They create a foundation for knowledge and a home for students in the Kansas City, Kansas community to be a part of and to reach back and share those experiences. So I'm grateful for the opportunity to speak to you all today. I'm grateful for the Health Career Pathways program. I'll deliver a few words today. I don't consider myself an orator, but I'm going to deliver a few words today because I do know what struggle, injustice, and poverty is about. And I think now more than ever in the times that we're in right now, the big issue of our time, in my estimation, is income inequality. There are a lot of things happening at a state level and at a national level that are making poor people worse off. And I think that what we start in our programs, I think we have to build upon as we go out and pursue our careers in English, in medicine, in mathematics, and engineering. I think we can't forget about the opportunities that programs like this have afforded us and use that knowledge and use those skills and use those resources to reach back and be a positive impact to people who look like us and who will help sustain their communities. As Marcia mentioned, I have been practicing medicine now on my own I've been practicing about 7 years, but 2 years on my own after I graduated residency. And I can tell you that a lot of those inequalities that we see in education, in housing, and income, all of those social determinants of health impact people's well-being, and I see it as a physician. Those people come to me, and I think one of the things I'm proud of is that in our program we tackle a lot of those social things, and we are able to look at all the dimensions of how we deal with and struggle with things that impact our day-to-day living. I can think back to a project that we worked on one summer about childhood overweight and obesity. We had an endocrinologist, Dr. Shadrack Smith, who came in and spoke to our group. The students put together wonderful presentations that we had an open house for down at the Southwest Boulevard Family Medicine Clinic. But that summer and going through topics like childhood overweight and obesity and talking about the scientific parts of it, the economic parts of it, the food deserts, the social parts of it, those things are real. Those are things that we experience in our communities and that we can change. And I think that we are going to have to be that force of change that we want to see in our communities. As I said, these are very challenging political times right now, but we can't forget that inequality exists in our communities. Inequality on many different levels, not just income, but housing, gender inequality, a pay inequality. Women still make about 80 cents on the dollar compared to men. And you have to ask yourself, why is that? If a woman has the same talent, the same skill set, why should she make less than a man? But we have to be that positive force to bring about that change that we want to see. things are very top heavy in our country right now. I was going to go through a lot of, I'm kind of a nerd a little bit, I'll freely admit, but I'm kind of a wonk. But I was reading a statistic before I put together my talk today, that this economist, Thomas Piketty, he wrote for a piece, and he said that the average family in the top 1% of earners makes 40 times more than the average family in the bottom 90% of households. Families even in the top 0.01%, so the top 100%, that's the 1% of the 1%, make on average 198 times more than those in the bottom 90%. So I think the challenge of our time is income inequality, and those inequalities with income affecting our communities and tearing our communities down because we don't have the access to appropriate housing, to education, to transportation, to a safe environment that we can raise our families in and that we can feel proud of, and we can continue to uplift. And my challenge to the group is to fight against complacency. I think that it's very easy once you get established in a professional career to get caught up in those challenges. And I do spend a lot of time, doing things at a computer, documenting on an electronic medical record. But I have to remember that, I belong to a community. I belong to people who will benefit from my experience and what I've experienced in my life, my experience with dealing with the education system, my experience going to medical school, my experience, traveling to a foreign country in sub-Saharan Africa with little to no exposure with foreign travel to, improve myself. I think we can't forget that and become complacent just because we achieve a professional status and we achieve a certain income, that there aren't more people that look like us and experience what we've gone through and what we've overcome. So my challenge to you all is to fight against complacency. Don't be afraid to speak out. I know that it gets very uncomfortable to be able to be a dissident or be someone who's out of place in a social circle, but you can't forget that there is a world going on around you and that there are people that are suffering. And many of those people, we know some of these people. But you can't be afraid to speak out for those who are marginalized due to institutional racism, to their ethnicity, to their gender, due to their zip code, anything that creates barriers for them, for people to be marginalized, we have to speak out against. We can't be afraid of that. And how do you do this? You become an activist. And activism isn't just picketing and, with a sign in front of an institution about their policies. Activism is more than that. Activism is what you all are doing now. It's pursuing your education. It's putting together research like you all have to educate people about these issues. One of the scariest challenges I feel like also of our time is that we live in a very, very high-tech, fast-paced world. And I think people forget that there's still a lot of information. There's a lot of information flowing everywhere. We just had an election that was plagued by a lot of fake news, a lot of information that was inaccurate. And it is imperative upon all of us to remember to read and critically think about things and be able to speak about things that we see going on in our communities. So, become an activist. Again, it comes in many forms. Mentoring, tutoring, writing your state representative if there are issues. I remember this past fall, when I would get ready for work in the morning, I would call the state representative's office and I would stay on hold, and I would wait until, you know, as I'm brushing my teeth, till somebody answered the phone to give my discontent with certain people that were up for cabinet positions. We can't forget that, you know, that's our power. And we see a lot of that power being exhibited now with the new healthcare law that's being discussed. People are standing up and they're using their voice to be able to speak. And you guys can't forget to do that. Educate yourselves about history and issues that harm disenfranchised communities. The biggest thing that means is exercising your right to vote. And not just in the national elections. You got to vote in your local elections. There are a lot of things happening at the state level in Kansas that are harming our state. And I see those things as a physician. You know, I see the lack of insurance that people have, the lack of opportunities that people have to pursue education. We can't forget that we have to use our voice to speak out against things that are harming our communities. Educate those in your family who may not know the issues. Don't be afraid to have conversations. They may be challenging conversations, but don't be afraid to have them. Because some of these things could end up in harmful legislation happening to our communities and the people that we love. I guess I'll conclude by saying that, you know, I feel very, very fortunate. I feel very blessed. You know, as Marcia mentioned in my bio, I was the 12th of 13 kids. My parents grew up in a very segregated South. My dad was from Mississippi and my mom was from Louisiana. She grew up on a farm. They grew up in the Jim Crow South where everything was still segregated. But they fought hard to make sure that their kids were educated. Don't take it lightly that you guys have opportunities, and don't take it lightly that there aren't people that are still suffering that you may move on from or you may leave behind. And don't be afraid to use your voice to speak out when you see injustice or you see things that seem amiss to you. Thank you all, and the best of luck to all the graduates.